/ opening. I'm hoping if I say it 100 times today that we'll realize that it is the same thing.
So right now you're doing a snap.
No, I'm doing a nag. You're okay, relax. Okay, so if her injury is right here between C5 and C6, I'm gonna put my pinky, my middle phalanx, right above it on C5, spinous process. Then I am going to take my thenar eminence, put it on top of said phalange, because we don't use this as gripping, this is just product placement. So then, I want to push what angle? I'm in the neck? 45. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to push up towards her eyeballs along that phalange to improve flexion of, we said this was C5 on C6, so I'm improving C5 on C6 flexion. And that's it. And I could do whatever oscillations I want. You want to do grade 4, we push in and oscillate. So if we do pivum, oh, that looks stiff. Pavum, over pressure, up and fix it. Or you can lay them down and do mobilization in what direction?
45 degrees towards the eyeball.
Which is flexion. Okay, I didn't hear that part. Also called? Also called? Again, is there an echo? That's cute. Very good. Okay, so that's a nag. You do whatever segment you want. So really you care about the injured segment. So if it's C5 on C6, that means the joint between those two is the injured joint. So you're going to go above onto C5 and you're going to lift it up and off. If we wanted to do extension, we'll call this a reverse nag. This is most described in the upper thoracic. You're going to load up the joint, make sure you're on the segment. Now you're on the segment above, so now you're going to go on the segment below, and you're just going to do a seated PA up.
So you're doing that to what?
So we'll say that this is T1, so I will be on T2 pushing up onto T1, and I'm just key gripping the spinous process.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna flex her head just to protect her neck.
And it's reversed because when you think extension, you think you should be going down and back, but now you're just switching up.
Yep, so now instead of doing superior onto inferior, I'm doing inferior up into superior. That did not feel good. That seems painful.
Yeah.
You can ask first.
Do you have to go on a 60-degree angle for that? Because we're in the thoracic Put that there.
It's still upper thoracic, so it's okay. Just go towards the eyeball. Don't get too crazy with the amount of detail needed for that. Palm's fine, I guess. It's not described that way, but I guess I can't. You won't hurt anybody.
Are you pushing at all through this into her forehead?
No, this is just like pavums where we're just trying to stabilize the neck.
Sure.
Oh, I'm more pulling than pushing. So when I'm here, I get her head flexed. Relax, good. We're gonna flex, and now I'm just gonna lift up and towards me just to give a little traction, because I like traction with my mobilizations.
So, are you kind of doing like a chin tuck?
Yep, chin tuck, protect her spine, so that I could work on these segments, because I don't want to occlude her upper cervical because I'm working down here. That's always just protection.
Can you explain what segment and where your fingers go for the reverse nag again?
Reverse is the level below that you want. So if T1 and T2, T1 is not extending over T2, I am going to be on T1, I'm going to be with my non-moving hand on T1. I'm going to be my moving hand on T2, pushing it up into T1. So with a reverse nag, level below, going up into it, extension. Nag, level above, pulling it up and off, flexion. Now we want to do combination of rotation. So our PAVM for this was painful and limited. So let's work on this. So we want to be having our thumbs on the, well, she's going right, on her left side, level above. So if C5 is not moving up and off of C6, we want to be on C5, on the articular pillar, pushing it up and off. And we're going to move with her, hold it for 2 seconds, come on back. So that will face that way. I'll turn them around. Oh, you can just change the camera, that's good. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rest my hands on her neck. So if that's C5, we're gonna go off onto the facet, articular pillar, facet, it's all good. That stays on that spot, it doesn't move. This now comes in, and it's just gonna reinforce it.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna have you turn, and you can look to your right, you can look down and to your right, and I'm gonna be taking that C5, pushing it up and off with her. So you wanna look, just look to your right as well. One, two, which direction am I pushing?
Up and away.
Up towards the eyeballs, and turn to your right. 1, 2, and do that. So if your PAVM was positive for stiffness, this is a technique that you could do. What other technique could you do? You can do a
UPA.
UPA. You could also do a supine.
Oh,
What's the percent?
oh, the ungulate,
Nope,
ungulate?
nope, that one.
You could do the facet upglide and supine. You could also do the other one in supine with movement.
Mobilization.
Yeah, that upglide for mobilization with movement. Why would I pick this one over the other ones? Sure, you want to have them seated. Go right into it. Show them magic tricks. There's no difference between any of those techniques. So there's no reason that there's no technique you should not be able to do, because we gave you 5 different ways of doing it. So seated snag, seated nag, reverse nag. Seated snag, same as seated PAVM for quadrants, same as supine upglide, same as supine prone UPA, same as supine upglide, but from a different author. I think that's it. Is that enough? That's enough. Good.
Wait, can we see the cell phone while we're just here doing it?
We're gonna skip it.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
show the?
You guys have enough things to do over the next 2 weeks. You're good. It's gonna be a fun
What
piece.
if her, that seems, what if her, you do the reverse nag?
That was just.
If what was what?
If like the right facet wasn't moving.
Right, because that wasn't moving. So you would just come over here and then turn to your left. Oh, technically you could do it to the right as well. That one makes less biomechanical sense, but Mulligan says, I'll do it anyway. No joke. I actually, it was in there, those descriptions, you can go from same side to opposite side to bilateral. I took it out because it wasn't worth the talk that we're having right now. I figured this would make a lot more consistent sense. Okay. What's the difference between upglide, flexion, and opening?
Nothing.
Good.
Author, different author.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Good. So if we want to go with PAVM and UPAs, if you care to know, is Maitland. The supine Sal one is Naomt, and then so Earl Petman, and then you have the supine upglide, and nags and snags will be Mulligan. Ready? And anybody want to say anything before we break? Oh, you know what I wanna show you here? So since these are really similar to all the stuff we've been doing already, so this should hopefully go quick. So that's nag, snag, reverse snag. We're gonna do headache snags. So, what did I do with a nag? What finger was on the joint? Pinky, middle phalanx, right? And what area, if I wanna do a headache snag, what area of the neck are we worried about? Which vertebrae?
C0, C3.
So C2 is the one that we can first get our hands onto. So all we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be getting here out of the way. We're going to be on the occiput, and then the pinky is gonna be on C2. Come on up. We're going to flex for safety. We're gonna put our thenar eminence on that pinky of C2. And then what direction are we gonna push? Towards the eyeballs, and we're just gonna hold that. That's your reverse, not your reverse, that's your headache snag. Holding that. If it's irritable, hold it for less time and do less pressure. The reason we're doing it is the same exact thing as a nag, except once it's up at C2, you call it a headache snag. Oh man, that's gonna be fun. All right, we're not gonna do reverse. Don't worry about that. That's good. Let's check it all out. Good.